There's an old saying in the villages along the Benue River: greed is not measured by what you take, but by what you refuse to leave behind. Let me tell you about a girl who wanted everything and became nothing. I grew up hearing stories about the village of Goko, a place that sat along the bend of the river like a child resting in its mother's arms. That river gave them everything: fish for their pots, water for their yams and cassava. Life itself flowed from that river. And in that village lived a girl named Zara. 15 years old. Beautiful in the way that made old women nervous and young men foolish. But beauty wasn't Zara's only trait. She had something else inside her. Something dark. A hunger that nothing could fill. I remember the stories people told about her. How her mother would give her a full bowl of rice, and Zara would push it away, complaining it wasn't enough. How her father wove her the finest wrapper in the village, and she'd throw it on the ground, saying it wasn't as fine as the chief's daughter's cloth. When the rains came and the harvest was good, everyone celebrated. Everyone except Zara. She wasn't grateful. She was angry. Angry that other families also had plenty. Why must I share the blessings? She would ask anyone who'd listen. Why can't the river belong only to me? Her mother, Amora, a wise woman who knew the old ways, would shake her head and warn her daughter. My child, a river that refuses to flow becomes a swamp. Stagnant. Poisonous. Be careful what you wish for. But Zara didn't listen. She never did. One night, when the moon was full and the village was asleep, Zara did something that changed everything. She went to the river and called out to the water spirit. The mommy water. The ancient goddess who lives beneath the current, who grants wishes but demands payment in return. The elders always warned us, never ask mommy water for anything unless you're prepared to pay with your soul. But Zara was tired of being ordinary. She was tired of sharing. She wanted power. I heard from those who saw her that night that the river began to glow with an unnatural light. And from deep below the surface came a voice that wasn't quite human. What do you want, child of dust? Zara didn't tremble. She didn't hesitate. I want the river, she said. I want to own it. Every fish. Every drop. Every blessing it holds. I want the other villagers to beg me for water. I want to be powerful. There was silence. Then, from the depths of the river, a calabash rose to the surface. It glowed like captured moonlight. Drink from this calabash, the voice said, and the river will become part of you. You will control it. You will own it. But remember, child, what you take in, you must also carry. Zara grabbed that calabash with both hands. She lifted it to her lips and drank. She drank until every drop was gone. She drank until the calabash was empty. At first, no one in the village understood what was happening. The river that had fed Goko for generations began to shrink. Day by day, the water level dropped. The fish vanished. The crops started dying. Mothers had to walk for miles just to find water for their children. And Zara began to change. Her belly swelled like she'd swallowed the moon itself. Her arms grew heavy. Her legs could barely support her weight. She moved slowly, like a woman 9 months pregnant. But the village midwives knew there was no baby inside her. There was the river. I heard that you could see it moving inside her. The water. Sloshing back and forth beneath her skin with every breath she took. Her mother would sit beside her, crying, begging her to let it go. My daughter, what have you done? You're carrying the weight of the whole village inside you. Please. You must release it. But Zara would turn her face to the wall and whisper through cracked lips, no. It's mine. I earned it. I will not share. But here's what Zara didn't understand. A river is not meant to be owned by one person. A river is meant to flow. To move. To give life. By trapping it inside herself, she was drowning from within. She couldn't sleep. She couldn't eat. Every breath felt like she was underwater. At night, the villagers said they could hear her screaming. But it wasn't just her voice they heard. It was the river itself, crying inside her belly, begging to be released. The conflict tearing her apart wasn't just physical. It was spiritual. She wanted to let the river go. She wanted the pain to stop. But her pride, her greed, her desperate need to be special, to be powerful, it kept her hands clenched tight around what she'd stolen. She had become a prisoner. Not of mommy water, but of her own desire. Then came the day everything changed. I wasn't there, but the people who were said they'll never forget it. Zara dragged herself to the village square at dawn. Her body was trembling. Her skin had turned the color of river clay. She opened her mouth to speak, but no words came out. Instead, water poured forth. Gallons of it. Gushing from her mouth, her nose, her ears. It flooded the square, sweeping away baskets and clay pots. The villagers screamed and scattered, but the water kept coming. It flowed and flowed and flowed, a river being born again from the body of a girl who tried to cage it. When it was over, the river had returned. It rushed back to its bed, filling the banks, bringing life back to Goko. But Zara was gone. Not dead, but gone. Her body remained there in the dust, shriveled like a dried gourd. Empty. Hollow. There was no spirit left inside. No soul. Just a shell. Make sure you like AMD, subscribe for more extraordinary stories. The elders of Goko say that Zara is still there, in a way. She's become part of the river now. She flows through it, touching every life the river touches. But she can never drink from it again. She can never hold it. She is a current, forever moving, forever giving, but never at peace. I tell this story because the lesson is one we all need to hear. You cannot own a blessing that was meant to be shared. The moment you try to hoard the river, you become the drought. Greed doesn't just rob others. It hollows you out from the inside. It turns you into an empty vessel with nothing left to give, not even to yourself. So be the river that flows, my friend. Not the dam that breaks.